transfer knowledge of Vedas to the other generations. So this class of people came to be known as Shrotriyas, and they are classified as Brahmins in the hierarchy, if we see. So they are the class of Brahmins in the society.
Okay, so your ancestors used to listen to the Vedas being recited, not recite it themselves.
Yes, sir. They were the ones who used to listen to this. Vachaks were the one who used to recite the Vedas.
Okay, okay. Then the matter stands demystified. So your parents are from that Malwa region, and you, I think, spent almost your entire life in Indore. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Bahut acha. Then you studied in Bhopal.
Sir, I studied in Indore in a college, but that was affiliated to the university, which is in Bhopal.
Okay. So you studied very much in Indore itself.
Yes, sir.
Which is the biggest city in Madhya Pradesh. It's bigger than even Bhopal, I think. And you studied computer science.
Yes, sir.
So 2017 के बाद, what was your journey? क्या किए थे आप?
Sir, post 2017, I decided that I have to prepare for civil services. So I started my preparation in June 2017. And since then, I have been preparing. Intermittently, sir, I have also been following my hobbies that include aerial yoga and making the Gond paintings. So these have been my little stress busters during this preparation. Otherwise, sir, I was doing preparation whole time during this phase.
How did you get exposed to the Gonds? Do they live in Indore area? To my knowledge, nahi.
Sir, my mother hails from Sivni area in Madhya Pradesh, and Sivni is very proximate to the area of Mandla and Dindori, which is there in Madhya Pradesh, where primarily the Gonds reside. So my mother picked up this art, and from her I also got interested.
Okay. Right then. So now our former Chief Secretary, Dr. M.G. Gopal, he will continue this interview. After that, 3 more. And eventually, towards the end, again, I'll come back. Okay?
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Gopal Garu?
Yes, sir. Yes. So, Ms. Anjali, can you hear me, see me?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Okay. Now, you studied from the Medicaps Institute.
Yes, sir.
So, is it an institute affiliated to some other university, or is it a university by itself?
Sir, till 2017, till my batch, it was affiliated to the Rajiv Gandhi University in Bhopal.
Okay.
After 2017, it has become a university in itself now.
So, how many types of universities can be constituted in India?
Sir, I'm not aware of it. I have heard that there are deemed universities and autonomous universities, but I'm not very sure of the procedure.
Okay. You would have heard of a central university or a state university?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So your Medicaps is a central university or a state university? Any idea?
Sir, it is a state university, in my opinion, sir.
Okay, let's go back to now your own city, Indore. Now, Indore is considered to be one of the best cities in Madhya Pradesh, and for that matter, also received some awards under Swachh Bharat, from Government of India.
Yes,
now,
sir.
if other cities have to be taught some lessons about, say, the municipal management in terms of how to collect and treat solid waste, what will be your advice to those city managers?
Sir, in terms of the sanitation and cleanliness, I think that what other cities can learn from Indore is the fact that it is not just one entity that can contribute in the growth or in the development of a city or its targets. It has to be a collaborative and a coordinated approach. The journey of Indore is a success in Swachhata is only of the fact that it was the municipal cadre, it was the government, it was the bureaucracy along with the people of Indore who made this a journey a success. So, for example, sir, if I take the case of my own home, we find that we are very particular when it comes to separation of waste, the wet waste and the dry waste. We separate it at our home itself, so that the people who come to collect the waste, they do not have to do that separation. So it becomes very easy to treat the municipal waste.
Okay.
So awareness among people is very, very high, which I think other cities can learn from Indore. And apart from that, sir, the dedication of the municipal cadres and workers in Indore was also very high. So we had a cadre called as Swachhata Didis, who used to work almost 24/7. We had people on the roads who used to clean the roads and who used to work for the aesthetic cleanliness of the city.
Okay. Okay. Good. Now, how do you deal with the construction and demolition waste?
Sir, regarding the construction and the demolition waste in Indore specifically, you're asking?
Yes.
Sir, I'm not aware of the construction waste per se, sir, the process.
All right. Now, you would have heard of ease of doing business ranking given by Niti Aayog. Where does Madhya Pradesh stand? And what is ease of doing business?
Sir, ease of doing business is the World Bank criteria, basically, to judge how the cities have been and the countries have been performing when it comes to opening a business, enforcing contracts, and doing good on various parameters, be it registering of the land and property, etc. So it basically deals with how is the ecosystem of starting a business in a particular city. And sir, with respect to how Madhya Pradesh has been doing, I would say that there has been a lot of investment opportunities that Madhya Pradesh has been trying to create for investors to come and to start their businesses over here. We have had various entrepreneur summits and I5 summits also for the budding entrepreneurs and investors to come and invest in Madhya Pradesh. So, sir, it is trying in that front. It is trying.
Okay, good. Now, we have seen a lot of agitation that went on and which is also going on in Haryana, Punjab about the 3 major farm laws. And when it came to Madhya Pradesh farmers, we didn't see much of resistance or agitation from the farmers. What do you think are the reasons for the satisfaction levels that the Madhya Pradesh farmers have with the status quo, and why they are not opposed to these farm laws like Punjab and Haryana farmers are?
Sir, firstly, I think that the farm protests which are there in Punjab, Haryana, and mostly in Western Uttar Pradesh, restricted to there and not over pan India, and even not in fact in Madhya Pradesh, is because of the procurement and the benefits that are garnered by the farmers are mostly the farmers belonging to that particular region itself. So, for example, FCI has it 77% of the godowns in these particular areas where procurement actually happens. So the farmers of these areas are particularly apprehensive that if the farm laws come in, they might stand at a disadvantage. And however, sir, in Madhya Pradesh, the agricultural reforms that have taken place in the last 10 to 15 years, they have boosted the agriculture in the state quite a lot. Recently, Madhya Pradesh has even left Punjab behind the wheat procurement. So it has contributed to the largest, as a state that has contributed to the largest fund in the central procurement when it comes to the procurement of wheat. So I think the agrarian reforms in Madhya Pradesh have quite strengthened our agriculture. Apart from that, sir, we are also not just a cereal-based economy, but a very diversified economy when it comes to pulses and oil seeds. So a lot of prospect of pulses, oil seeds is also there in Madhya Pradesh. So I think though there are areas of improvement, I would not say farmers are completely satisfied, but yes, sir,
Okay,
there
good.
is an element of certainty.
All right, good. Now, Madhya Pradesh has good, comparably better diversity, biodiversity, and forest cover. But in the recent past, there was a lot of agitation about the diamond mining. Have you heard of that mining industry and the agitation?
Yes, sir. In the Buxwaha forest of the Chhatarpur district in Madhya Pradesh, sir, this it was a proposal that around 380 acres of land would be given to the mining company to mine the diamonds over here. And primarily the apprehension was that around 2.8 lakh trees had to be cut for that, and that housed a huge biodiversity. So the environmentalists and even the tribals who were dependent on these forests for their livelihoods would stand at a backseat if this mining would have gone forward. But so fortunately, the NGT has stayed on this mining prospect for now, and we are yet to see how this completely pans out in the future.
Okay, okay. Have you heard of the recent medical termination of pregnancy law? What are the provisions?
Yes, sir. So the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act that came in with the amendments recently was brought in because of two factors basically. One is that the adolescent and the teenage pregnancies in India are very high. So India is the second largest teenage pregnancy hub in India. And the earlier act did not provide for abortion for girls who were not married. So illegal pregnancies was a major issue that India was dealing with. So in this act, sir, we have reformed this, and it's not just the married women, but also the unmarried girls can go for abortion if they wish to. So I feel this is a very progressive step in giving the reproductive rights to the girls and to the teenage girls as well. And so secondly, there has also been a provision of increasing the abortion limit from 20 weeks to 24 weeks.
Right.
That has been made.
All right, all right, all right. Now, being a computer science engineer, can you tell me whether you are happy with the way that the electronic waste is being managed in the country? And if not, what can be done to improve?
Sir, I believe we have laws in place for the management of electronic wastes, like the e-waste management rules are there. We also have the response. We also have this scheme of.
Okay, I understand. Before I pass on to my co-panelists, tell me what are these sustainable development goals?
Sir, the Brundtland Commission report had highlighted these sustainable development goals in 1987 itself. So wherein the idea of sustainability is
what were they called in 1987? Were they called sustainable development goals or something else?
Sir, the idea of sustainable development ushered from here, but in 2015 they were called as sustainable development goals. Before that, they were called as Millennium Development Goals till 2000.
Thank you. Vivek.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Anjali, you know, you are basically from computer science, but then you studied for geography. So, what is that that attracted you to geography? Is it the scope of the discipline, or were you a very curious child from the childhood? Were you oriented towards the space around you?
So primarily it was the interest in the subject. I feel it is a very interesting subject, something that we can see around us. The way I talk about the physical geography first, the hills, the mountains, the physical features we very much see around us. So it always intrigued me, the places, the world maps. So that was primarily the reason. And so secondly, I thought very strategically that in the examination like UPSC, there are many toppers who have done very well from geography, and it covers a very wide area of your GS also. So it would help me both ways.
Now, tell me, as an aspirant for civil services, as your study of geography, do you think makes you a better civil servant, and if so, how?
Sir, I believe that the knowledge of geography would definitely help me as an administrator because we study various concepts that can be applied while we are in the position of as an administrator. So, for example, sir, we study the concept of regional planning in geography. Now, in regional planning, sir, we study the two approaches, top to bottom and bottom to up approach, where we know that if something is carried on from bottom to top, it has greater chances of being socially acceptable also and greater chances of success. Sir, I would like to take example of my own area, Jhabua district, which is there in Madhya Pradesh. And there I would like to say that how regional planning was not adopted when administration was trying to formulate policies for the tribals of Beans and Bilalas over here. So they did give them the poultry for their sustenance, but they did not consult the tribals in that particular process. And what we found after a few years of assessment was that the tribals, they were not benefited out of the poultry given to them. Rather, they did not have food and they consumed the poultry itself.
Okay.
So had we consulted them, that would have been more better. So.
Now, since you are talking about regional planning, spatial planning and all that, and now looking at Madhya Pradesh map and also as a student of geography, do you think the current, administrative map, the political administrative map of Madhya Pradesh, answers, various issues that geography poses, or would you like to redraw the map? Applying the concept of region.
Sir, I would not want to redraw the map per se, but with respect to regions of Madhya Pradesh, sir, I feel that if we apply the knowledge that we have studied of regions, there are primarily 3 regions, and we can develop the strategies for each region considering their strengths and weaknesses. The Bundelkhand region has to be developed in a very different way than what the Malwa region has to go for a development of its own. So I believe if we know the strengths and weaknesses of a region, that can help us. I would not want to read out the boundaries, but sir.
Okay. Then how do you actually, draw the boundaries of a region based on what criteria?
Sir, there are different methods that we employ when we need to draw the boundaries of a region. Sir, R.L. Singh gave one of the methods, which was to see the flow of a particular good and service till what extent it goes. And considering that particular flow, we demarcated those boundaries. So, for example, if a particular flow of, let's say, a good, maybe a newspaper or our eatable items is coming out till a distance of maybe 10 or 12 kilometers, then that particular boundary would be demarcated. So that was the flow method that he suggested to draw the boundary of a region. Sir,
Is that the only way? Don't you also look at, the physical features and also the climate and also the cultural aspects? How do you delimit a region? Merely by, movement of goods and services?
No, sir. So there are various methods, sir. This was one of what he proposed, sir. I believe that in these times, when we as administrators or maybe as geographers, if we have to delineate a region, we have to take in the integrated and the holistic approach while delineating a region, in which cultural aspects have to be primarily looked at. So the one of the defining feature of one region from another region has to be the culture also taken into account along with physical features, sir.
There's also, recently a word which is, as a student of geography, I'm sure must have caught your attention. Something called wet bulb temperature phenomenon. What is that? Have you heard about it?
Sir, I'm not aware of it, sir.
Right. And in the context of, the monsoon, which is now here, how do you characterize typically monsoon?
Sir, monsoons I would characterize as a phenomena that is associated with the reversal of the trade winds. So the reversal is one of the unique feature of the trade winds that happens only in the Indian subcontinent, which is very much related to monsoons. So second characteristic I would give them is their sudden outburst. So on the coast of Kerala, there is a sudden outburst with which monsoon arrive in the country. And so third characteristic would be the breaks in the monsoon, which we are experiencing even right now in the country.
Now, in this context, have you heard of what is called flash drought?
Yes, sir.
What is flash drought?
Sir, flash droughts are the droughts that happen in a particular area year after year. So there might be many reasons for that, but monsoons are to be considered one of the reasons because of their failure. Year after year, we see that flash droughts happen in areas like Vidarbha, be it, or even in the areas of Bundelkhand that are responsible for their backwardness.
Now, what are the implications for administration if there is a flash drought, and when do you actually declare that flash drought has set in, and what are the implications for administration? A prospective civil servant and someone who is interested in applying whatever you have learnt to the job that you are likely to do coming days.
So for the administration, if there is a flash drought, which means that if primarily the economy over there is agriculturally dependent, if we see, then flash droughts become a major and a potential hazard for the people. I would classify them as disaster. So one is that administration has to look for diversification of the economy. So from agriculture, maybe administration can think of going into the allied activities of agriculture, be it dairy or poultry farming, that can give avenues to the farmers, because droughts impact mostly the farmers. So secondly, the administration can also think in long term for the conservation of the water in the area. So since droughts are happening, so rainwater and traditional water harvesting practices can be thought of and can be developed in the area to conserve the moisture. And so thirdly, we can also, as administrators, we can focus on the crops that are suitable to be grown in those particular areas according to the agroclimatic regions.
Right.
So administration can work on
Good. Now, in recent times, these heat waves have become quite common, and as recent as perhaps a week or a fortnight back, Canada had experience of this. So when do you say it's a heat wave, and what are the implications for an administrator? Because India is also quite prone to these heat waves. So tell me, as a prospective administrator, if when do you declare that yeah, it is now time come that heat wave has set in, and therefore these things are to be followed, and as the district administrator, the district collector, what kind of announcements you are going to make?
Sir, I would say that globally, I am not aware of the criteria how to declare a heat wave, but in India, we have certain guidelines under which we say that in the plain area, if the temperature exceeds beyond 40 degrees centigrade, then it's declared a heat wave. While in the hill areas, sir, we have a cutoff of 30 degrees Celsius as the temperature. So in that sense, we declare that a heat wave has occurred. Sir, regarding the implications and the administrative steps that we need to take place if a heat wave is there. So firstly, I would want to sir, primarily see those areas where the heat wave has occurred and how many people have been impacted by it. So I would want to locate those regions and those places, sir. And I would want to formulate a strategy looking at that. Sir, secondly, as an administrator, since heat waves are not recognized as disasters in our the guidelines, sir, so it becomes a little difficult for an administrator to get the funds out of the NDMA and SDRF and NDRF for this. So, sir, I think funding. Having funds in place and for the people impacted by the heat waves would be a challenge for the administration. So we have to see for some other sources through which we can divert some of the funds for the people impacted by it. So for that, crowdfunding can be an innovative source. I think we can have deploy some funds over there. So thirdly, I think that for the population impacted by heat wave, I would want that they are treated, first of all, their primary treatment if there is a heat stroke or certain thing, they are given the primary treatment in the nearby hospitals, sir. And so fourthly, in the long term, I would also see that the area is having certain water management practices that are there. We can employ the traditional practices also in that particular area so that the impact can be a little lowered down in the coming times, sir.
But more importantly, don't you think you need to rejig the working hours? It is the most important.
Yes, sir. That is also, yes, sir. That cannot.
Isn't
yes, sir.
it?
That has to be the thing. Yes, sir.
Now you may have to rejig, your office timings and school timings. And then
Yes,
you
sir.
tell people, as a district administrator, you tell people that, okay, offices will open at 8 and close by 12, so that they will all be
Yes, sir.
home and they will not, particularly
Yes, sir.
between 1 and 3 and 1 and 4, which is the, the peak time when the heat wave is at its peak. Okay, that
Yes,
is the time everyone is supposed to be indoors. So
Yes,
don't you advise people to take care of
Yes,
this?
sir.
Because prevention
sir.
is better than cure. While you are
Yes.
addressing the issue of treatment and hospitalization, keeping oral solutions, etc., etc.,
Yes, sir. Yes,
isn't
sir.
it? So
Yes,
don't you rejig the working hours? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Be
Thank you
it
so much.
construction workers, be it administration, be it schools, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
think
Definitely, sir.
that is the most topmost priority should be given.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Yes, sir.
good,
Thank you, sir.
good. Now tell me, uh, now this pandemic has also brought in a lot of issues of quite a lot of children becoming orphans because they have either lost a parent or two parents and all that. Now, is there anything being done about them? And now tell me, as a if you were in the seat of administration, let us, and now you are faced with this problem of children who have lost their parent, they become destitute, orphans. What kind of proposals will you submit to the government to take care of?
So firstly, I say that a lot of social media people have come out on social media and they have initiated that they would want to adopt children. There is a so that is good, but I feel that there is a risk of child trafficking in these times. So my first suggestion to the government would be to stop any such adoption which is voluntarily taken up by the people and have a institutional mechanism in place if somebody wants to adopt a child. For that, sir, we already have our CARA is the central agency which is working in adoption, sir. So I would suggest the state government to follow a step-by-step procedure if adoption prospective parents come for adoption. So secondly, I think NGOs can be roped in for this particular purpose where they can take the care of those children who have been orphaned for the time being. For example, sir, in Madhya Pradesh, the Honorable Nobel Laureate Mr. Kailash Satyarthi has the Bachpan Bachao Andolan Foundation, sir, that has come forward for the help of these children who have been orphaned at that time. So, sir, many such organizations can be collaborated. They can be collaborated together, and for the time being, sir, in short run, we can feed these children with proper food and their
To which
necessities.
department do you assign this job of taking care of children?
So the Department of Child Development that comes under Ministry of Women and Child Welfare, sir. Under that.
Okay. Now tell me, as a woman, uh, keep talking about women empowerment, women as a vulnerable section. Okay. Now you have some maid coming in and helping, right, in your
Yes, sir.
daily domestic. Now, if you were to tell her that this is what it means by women empowerment, how would you? Your boy has come, he reports to work. Okay. Now imagine that tomorrow you are the administrator, you have this task given by the state government, women empowerment program. Then charity, as they say, charity begins at home, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
in the first place, how would you tell your boy who comes and then how are you going to tell her, yeah, this is what the women empowerment means?
Sir, I would like to take the example of my own house help who used to come, sir, and she was supposed to get enrolled herself into a college after she completed her schooling and all, and she also had her brothers at her home. But it was decided by her parents that she would be married off soon because she was already 18 and she would not continue with her studies, and her brothers would, and she would have to work and contribute in the family so that her brothers could study. So we and my mother both advised her that she does, and she did not wanted to get married off so soon. So sir, we advised her that it is because not just because she's a woman she can't study or she can't go to college. So we told her that it is a right, and if she wants to enroll herself into a college, maybe we can provide her some financial help and talk to her parents. But definitely that is one thing, that if she wants to study, she should study. So that is one thing that we told her, that this is also one form of empowerment, that she needs to stand up and she needs to tell what she wants to do.
Oh,
So, sir, if something happens, then I would want their education as the prime thing.
now apart from this, this pandemic has also made, slightly the plight of women, more visible.
Yes, sir.
And one aspect of this is, during pandemic and lockdown, lack of work, lack of, ability to earn, families have seen, female child as a burden in the family. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
quite a few of them have also started marrying off their,
Yes, yes, sir.
okay. Now tell me, as one who is, let us say, you are now charged with this function of preventing, how would you go there?
So, if I may clarify, preventing.
Yeah, preventing this, child marriages, because on account of, pandemic induced scenario,
Okay, sir.
yeah, parents tend to think that, okay, in any case now, see, the situation has changed and we are not able to, earn more and also take care of female child. And female child generally in our context is seen as, something to be given away, paraya dhan, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, as an administrator, if I have to curb such child marriages, sir, one is that I would ensure that the law which is there for the prevention of the Child Marriage Act, which is there, so that is implemented in the letter and spirit. We already have a law, and we need to implement it in a very spirited manner, sir. So that would be my first thing. And so secondly, as an administrator, I think it would be more in the I would not say, but sir, it would be more in areas where there is a lot of poverty, that people would be trying to marry off their girl child. So I would want to spread awareness also as an administrator, take help of the local people over there and talk to them, so that I can tell them that this is a wrong precedence that they have been setting up, and try to help those families also, sir. So with whatever resources I can.
Finally, I find from your DAP, you are into singing Bollywood songs.
Yes, sir.
Do you sing or you simply listen or what?
Sir, I listen also and I sing also. I'm not professionally trained though.
Okay. Now, who is your favorite playback singer?
Sir, Mohit Chauhan.
Sorry?
Sir, Mohit Chauhan.
Now, recently the government of India has abolished, rather scrapped the film certification tribunal. Okay.
Yes.
So looked at it, and have you thought about the implications of that scrapping?
Sir, I think, sir, that we already had a central board of certification in place, and the law says that over and above that, the government would be having the power to certify any of the or censor any of the movies if they want. Sir, I think that uh, so this since we already had a mechanism in place, we could have followed that more stringently, and rather than government coming in and establishing another level. So I think that that is considered a little bit of digression from our right to our freedom of speech and expression also, which is considered. So sir, I think
Why
that
do you think the film fraternity is a little upset about the scrapping?
sir, some of them view this that there will be excessive impositions and censoring that might be done, and they would not be as free to depict the things that they want to through the medium of films. So there would be excessive and stringent regulations that might be there.
Cinematograph Act was amended Now, if even after the film certification is done, even a babu in a ministry can also call for a film and then he can use his scissors. So that is the biggest worry. There is no tribunal. So if someone is aggrieved, he has to go all the way to the local high court. So God knows, how long it takes when it will see the light of the day. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That was very interesting, speaking with you, Anjali. I really enjoyed speaking with you. My co-panelist will continue.
Thank you.
Miss Anjali.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So you got a prize for essay writing by the Minister of Education.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the topic you have chosen? You chose for this essay?
So the topic was given by the Jan Shikshan Sansthan under MHRD, which was formerly known as to us. So it was in Hindi, sir. It was Mahila Sashakti that is women empowerment. The topic was in Hindi.
So excellent topic you have taken. Yes. So tell us, Anjali, in Madhya Pradesh, there is a model for women empowerment. Are you aware of this model? It's relating to loans, giving loans to women by the banks, and the government is supporting that thing. Are you aware of this scheme?
Sir, at the state level, I am not aware of the scheme.
Okay, nice. Anjali, you Minister of Education. So education, your mother is also a teacher.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a state like Madhya Pradesh needs good education because it's basically a relatively backward state. So yes, in this respect, many states have been experimenting with education, and Delhi is one state which is now acclaimed as one of the best education systems. Are you aware of the system there?
Yes, sir. The Delhi model of education has been hailed not just in India but worldwide for the innovative approaches that they have adopted in education, sir.
Okay. So what exactly is the content and how they have brought this type of change?
Sir, the very innovative approach that is there in Delhi School of Model is the one is the happiness curriculum that they have included under this. So they try to see whether what are the levels of satisfaction and contentment, and they try to teach children also about how to be stress-free while they are in their academic career. So one is very innovative is the happiness curriculum, and this was in fact the US lady also who came to India, Sir Mrs. Melania Trump, she was also very interested in this, and she also oversaw that. So secondly, I think the school management committee concept that is there in the Delhi model, where they consider the school as well as the children and their parents together, and they try to work with them on the various strategies and the failures and the problems that a student might face. So these committees, the concept of these committees is very novel to the Delhi School of Education that has come up, and that has actually helped students to improve their grades as well. And so thirdly, I believe that they have tried to make use of technology, and the government schools in Delhi, they have become really A-class when we see them. There are digital infrastructure has been employed there that has helped students to learn a lot.
Okay. In Madhya Pradesh, there is a village, very, very famous, Pathangarh.
Yes, sir. Pathangarh village.
Yeah, Pathangarh village. So what is its speciality?
Sir, Pathangarh village is in the Dindori district of Madhya Pradesh, and it's an area that is inhabited by the Gond tribals. So, sir, the Gond paintings have their origin from this particular village, and most of the villagers in this practice the Gond art. So it's famous for the Gond art, sir.
No, Anjali, tell us. We are not aware of this Gond art. What exactly the Gond art?
Sir, as we all know that tribals are very naturally very artistic people. They all possess some or the other form of art. So the Gonds primarily took up this painting as their art feature. And the painting is very unique in the sense that the themes of these paintings are vividly connected to the nature. So it depicts how the human has been interdependent on nature for its survival, its livelihood. And in the contemporary form, these paintings also depict how we as humans have encroached upon the nature. And through their paintings, they try to showcase that how urbanization has impacted the biodiversity.
Okay.
So they try to depict it through the paintings. And so recently in COP25, these paintings were shown. And even in Spain, the Gond artist got to, they showed that how climate change and other things are impacting the humans.
So how many types of paintings are there in Gond art?
So there is as such no types of paintings. It's a very freestyle kind of painting. Anybody, they believe that painting is actually a way to express yourself through the paper and colors. So no specific types. They just draw whatever they feel like and they see in nature.
Okay, Anjali, you talked about the cleanest city, Indore.
Yes, sir.
So what is the contribution made by the civil servants for this clean city, and can you name the civil servant?
So there are many, I would say, who have contributed, and with my personal interaction also with them, I got to know a lot how Indore has been doing. So it was Mr. Rakesh Agrawal, who was the collector over here, who led this entire Swachhata Abhiyan. Before that, Manish Singh sir also contributed. And sir, Mrs. Aditi Garg was also the CEO of the Smart City, but she also contributed a lot in the management and in the Swachhata Abhiyan of Indore.
So what is the contribution, Narahari, collector?
Yes, sir. Mr. P. Narahari was also, at time he was also there when the Swachhata movement was there in Indore, sir. And
okay. Anjali, there is a project at Devas. I think you are aware of this, near Indore.
Yes, sir. Devas is near Indore. Yes.
Devas Industrial Water Supply Project. What exactly is this project? What is its specialty?
Sir, I'm not aware of the project like per se, but
it's okay. It's okay. There is in Madhya Pradesh, I think the certain places got this UNESCO Heritage, World Heritage Awards.
Yes, sir.
So what are those places and why they got that type of acclaim? Can you throw some light on those things?
Sir, firstly, the UNESCO heritage site here is the Bhimbetka Caves, which are very near to the Bhopal, which is the capital of Indore in the Raisen district. And sir, they are very famous because they are the prehistoric caves. So some very old caves and paintings where we have found the mural paintings, the earliest mural paintings in the entire world. So in that sense, they were given the UNESCO award. So secondly, there is Sanchi Stupa, which is very famous as a Buddhist site and where the relics of Lord Buddha are kept. That has also got a UNESCO World Heritage Site, sir.
Okay.
And sir, thirdly, sir, there is the city of Orcha also, which is there and that is very famous for the temples and for the architecture which is there. And sir, talking about architecture, there are famous Khajuraho temples which are there in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So these are famous for their erotic sculptures.
So what is special about the Vanavihar National Park?
Sir, Vanavihar National Park is in Bhopal, and sir, that is one of the national parks, but sir, that is operated as a zoological park, as far as I know. And sir, there's a lot of biodiversity and it's tigers also which are found over here.
Okay. Anjali, as a student of geography, tell us what you talk about the Gonds, now Gond art. So Gonds spread over a large area. So they are not confined to only Madhya Pradesh, they are spreading in other states also. So what are the states and the area they spread out? And what is the population of the Gonds? Have you got any idea?
Sir, yes, Gonds are there in many states of India. Starting from MP, sir, they are found in Chhattisgarh also in a considerable amount. Sir, in Maharashtra, they are known by the name of Maria Gonds, which are there. And sir, in Andhra Pradesh also we have Gonds. And sir, some of the Gonds have Sanskritized and they call themselves as Raj Gonds now. So they no more believe that they are at the bottom of the ladder, and they believe that they have Sanskritized themselves and they claim a status equal to those of Brahmins. So sir, there are Raj Gonds also.
Okay, what is
and sir, Gonds are yes sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
And sir, Gonds are one of the largest tribals in Madhya Pradesh, and in Asia also, sir, they are said to be the second largest in their population. So population-wise, there are very huge community of Gonds.
So what is the language they speak, Anjali?
Sir, their languages, sir, it is known as Gondi in the local language, sir. The Gondi language that they speak.
So Gondi language belongs to which national language family?
Sir, I'm not sure about the language family, sir.
Okay, so how many Gondis can write? So a population, I think there are more than 2 million people.
Yes, sir.
But how many people can write their language?
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact numbers of Gonds, but I believe that, sir, literary-wise, they have been doing quite well as compared to the other tribes. Sir, the literacy levels are high in Gonds.
Anjali, after we heard that in the pandemic period we have already discussed, so there is a lot of tribals, they are hesitant about this vaccination process.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, as a bureaucrat, as a collector, or maybe the in charge of a particular district, how are you going to convince these people? Because this is a need of the hour, because most of the people are not coming forward. So what type of strategy you are going to follow to convince these people?
So, firstly, sir, it's very important that the tribals would not want to get vaccinated because they have certain fears. So we need to acknowledge that. So as a district administrator, sir, I would try to talk to the tribal head or their religious headmen, because they occupy a large sanction of the tribes over there. So tribes believe in their headmen a lot. So I would want to consult the headmen and try to explain them what is the entire process and how vaccination is very safe. So once I have the sanction of the headmen, I believe that tribals would also have faith in the vaccination process. And sir, secondly, sir, I would also talk to them on a personal level and try to tell them the various success stories, because many of the tribes, I would want to give them the examples of their own fellow tribal men in different states who have also taken a vaccination and have seen those results. So, and sir, thirdly, many of the youth in the tribal areas are educated. So these educated youth can be roped in as leaders for the vaccination campaign. And sir, fourthly, it's important to talk to them in their own language. So language and dialect of the tribals, if we try to persuade them in that language, sir, I believe that we would be able to convey a message to them very cogently.
Okay, Anjali, it's nice talking to you. Over to Somshekhar.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ms. Anjali,
Yes,
whenever I read or hear about Indore, in addition to cleanliness and other attributes, Namkeens come to my mind, and my memory is stopped at Prakash Namkeen. Now, can you tell me what are the popular Namkeen brands in India from Indore? What kind of market does it have? Who are the top 5 Namkeen producers?
Sir, it is true that Namkeen industry in Indore has taken a huge flight, and I believe that it is said that it is at third number when it comes to contributing to the economy of Indore. So it is a very great industry that has proliferated. Sir, we have various forms of Namkeen that are there, sir. If I talk about the regular bhujia or the sev, sir, we have different varieties even in sev. So we just don't have sev of one variety of besan, but sir, there is lasan ka sev, which is the garlic sev that is there. Sir, we have different tastes and flavors also in that. There are chips which are there. So those kinds of namkeens are there, sir. And sir, apart from that, it's a complementary source of food. Whenever we want to eat something, namkeen has to be there in that. So it's a complement.
Who are the top Namkeen makers in India? Anybody from Indore figures in that? Any company?
Sir, from Indore, I can't refer. Sir, from Indore, what is famous is the Ratan Namkeen and the Annapurna Namkeens that are famous, and the Prakash Namkeen that you already mentioned.
Have you heard of Pratap Namkeen?
Sir,
Pratap
Prakash
Snacks. It is called Pratap Snacks.
Sir, Prakash Snacks, I have heard, sir. Yes, sir, it is there.
You must have heard about Haldiram's.
Yes, sir. Haldiram's, I have
These
heard.
are all big players. Similarly, Pratap Snacks from Indore is a big player. And is this an organized industry, or is it small scale cottage and all this?
Sir, I'm not aware of their status right now, sir.
You must have heard of the NDMA.
NDMA, yes, sir.
What was the role of NDMA during COVID-19? Did it play an important role? There's some criticism on what they should have done and what they are doing.
Sir, NDMA is the National Disaster Management Authority, and they come into play, and their role is there whenever there is a disaster that happens. And COVID-19 was notified as a disaster by the government of India. So NDMA had a role to play in the sense that they provided the necessary relief and equipment to the people whenever they needed them. And so the funds was also diverted from the respective NDRF and SDRF funds of the state to provide the basic necessities to the people suffering from COVID-19.
NDMA is in some sort of a crisis in terms of leadership, its structure, and all that. Are you aware of that? Has it affected its role in managing COVID-19?
Sir, I'm not aware of the leadership crisis in NDMA.
Okay. Even before this COVID-19 is abated in Kerala,
yes, sir.
Now you hear of Zika virus.
Yes, sir.
There are reports of around 14 people affected.
Yes, sir.
Zika virus, is there any vaccine? Is there any treatment? And what causes this?
Sir, Zika virus is basically caused by the mosquito. It's caused by the virus Zika, and that is transmitted through the vector mosquito, which is Aedes aegypti, that primarily in the daytime, sir, which we see. And sir, it is endemic to the region of Africa. So the name is also derived from the Zika forests of Africa, from where the name Zika also comes. And sir, regarding the vaccination, sir, I believe that there is no vaccination for Zika. There is only the cure and the treatment that can be provided to the patient who is suffering from this particular virus. And sir, it is passed on also from mother to child. So there is microcephaly, the Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is seen in children, where their skull becomes very enlarged if they contract Zika virus. So, sir, there is I don't think there is any curative treatment also as of now.
Before this, a couple of years earlier, Kerala again was in a way saw another virus. Did you hear about it, and what is the source of that, which is supposed to be more dangerous?
Sir, it was the Nipah virus, and it is dangerous because of the fatality rates that it had. So the patient could not be cured because it was very new and novel, and the sequencing of the virus was still in very preliminary stages at that time. And so it was believed that it was transmitted to the humans through via the fruit bats, which were found in that area. So it was primarily from bats that the virus was transmitted to humans.
What is this transmission from animals to human virus called? And COVID-19 also, there are suspicions of this kind of a transmission.
Sir, they are zoonotic viruses that get transmitted. So they are called as zoonotic viruses, which are there. And in COVID-19 also, sir, we have seen that, and there are theories, sir, whether we are not still clear what is the origin of the COVID-19 virus, but it is said that primarily it's the wet markets which were operating in the Wuhan, So maybe from the porcupines or from the bats only, this virus might have transmitted to the humans also. But such investigations are going on regarding the origin of COVID-19.
Finally, you seem to have been very keen on the aerial yoga.
Yes, sir.
So what is it? It looks very fanciful,
Yes, sir.
Aerial yoga. What is it, and how popular is it in India, or is it in the initial stages?
Sir, aerial yoga is the traditional yoga. It is combined along traditional yoga asanas combined with Pilates, gymnastics, and anti-gravity exercises. So where your body is toppled upside down and you are held and suspended in air with the help of some hammocks and silk threads, where you are performing the normal yoga asanas. So that is primarily the aerial yoga. And sir, regarding the popularity in India, sir, it is slowly gaining popularity, I would say. I find many aerial yoga studios coming up in Indore as well as in Sir Delhi. Where for my short time, I could see that this sport is gaining a popularity. So now people are interested in taking up this as a challenge and performing it.
Anjali, is it healthy? Is it aesthetically nice, or is it visually attractive? What are the main theme of this?
Sir, I would say it is both. It is visually very attractive. So when we see it, it feels to be very challenging in the first instance. But secondly, sir, when we perform it, it is I would say it is easy to perform. As difficult as it might seem, it is not that difficult. So there is no age bar which is there. A person even as old as a person of 50 or 55 or 60 years can also perform this yoga, as well as a person of 18 years can also do it with equal poise and grace and equal comfort. So that is one advantage that aerial yoga offers. And so secondly, there are various benefits that are there with this anti-gravity exercises. So our core gets strengthened whenever we perform that, and if our core is strong, so we can do any exercise. So it targets your core muscles. That is one important thing. And so blood circulation also improves when we do this form of yoga.
You seem to be quite bullish on this form of yoga. I know you find good training business opportunities in this field in India.
Sir, I think that being the pioneer of yoga, India can revamp the yoga and package it in different forms also. So apart from our traditional yoga, which we should stick to, we can also develop parallel yoga industries which also promote these new forms of yoga. So be it aerial yoga or be it any other form of yoga, sir, I think it's a potential industry, and youth particularly would be attracted to it.
No, Anjali, if you look at yoga, we seem to be going overboard by claiming yoga is ours. It's been here for thousands of years. Typically we have all done it. But if you look at the business opportunity, popularization, the West seems to be really doing well. Yoga is big business. If you are aware, how yoga mats, yoga pants, and so on, make a lot of business. Do you see any scope for such opportunities in India also, or we just need to pat our back and say, we have all done it?
Yes, sir. That is one important point that you have mentioned, and that's correct. That we have lacked somewhere in claiming the economic benefits that we could have because it was originated in India. So we need to work, sir, on that also. We need to market and package it basically very attractively, and we need to make use of the e-commerce and the globalization that is ushered in, that West is doing. Sir, on that front, we can work. We can try to bring in more Indian-centric and Indian origin brands so that can be promoted in yoga. We can leverage the traditional industries of India, and that can come forward, and so they can also do well in yoga.
I think in addition to the Prime Minister doing yogic postures in Delhi and the United Nations, the entire Indian, I think, embassy and everybody doing yogic formats. I think we need to grow this industry also, perhaps.
Yes, sir. I also.
Anyway, I think Nice talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Anjali, we have taken about an hour to conduct this mock personality test. As you are well aware, the actual personality test in UPSC, Dholpur House, would be around 25 minutes. In no case beyond half an hour. So you'll have to remember that and make sure that all your replies in the UPSC main interview
Yes,
will
sir.
not go beyond 2 or 3 minutes. And generally, if the keywords are used,
Yes, sir.
immediately the interviewer, recognizing that you are aware of the subject, he switches to some other topic.
Okay,
And
sir.
that is how they will be able to assess you correctly. So that is the major difference between this mock interview and the actual interview.
Okay, sir.
At the end of which now we will give, each of us will give our perception
Yes, sir.
of how you have done.
Yes, sir.
According to me, you are very good in communication, outstanding communicator, something very rare among, in this very season, that is the last month and a half, we have interviewed about 140 candidates all over India. So you are one of those exceptionally good at communications person. You are able to translate your thoughts into words, comprehensible words, that too at a rate of flow which is more or less ideal. You are not talking too fast, nor are you talking too slow. So continue to maintain this. I'm not able to think of any field where you should, or any area where you need to work on. That is, I don't know how many days are left. When is the interview for you?
So September 15.
Plenty of time, more than 60 days. The whole of August is there, and about 20 days of July. So plenty of time. So I am not able to identify, but I'm sure my co-panelists will be able to. I'll now request Dr. M.G. Gopal to give his assessment of your performance. Gopal.
Anjali, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, good. Now, without wasting any time, I would like to say that I agree with the chairman totally. You are quite fluent. You are aware of several things. You are also at ease, if I may say so, more than required. You are very free, and you have been freely expressing what you had in your mind, which is very good. But there has to be some kind of a balance. If somebody is very reserved, doesn't speak freely, we try to advise them to speak freely. Now you are speaking so very well that my advice would be that you can perhaps economize on your words and feel as if you are selling your viewpoints. So okay, so try to save so that, of course, your knowledge base is good, so you will be able to package your answer very well into, like the chairman said, into some introductory 1 or 2 lines, which you did when I asked. Therefore, I had to stop you and I had to go to some other viewpoint, some other question. So you are well good, but then try to practice this of economizing on your flow, which is good. You know everything. Only thing is, if you are not aware of different types of universities, it's okay. Just since I asked, I wanted to clarify that there could be a deemed university, recognized by the UGC under the UGC's Act. Normally where a society is functional, an educational institution run by a society, functional for 5 years, and UGC recognizes as a deemed university under the UGC's Act. Okay, it's a deemed university. Now from there you have a private university. Again, private university constituted under an act of the state. Okay, which is privately funded. Then you have a state university funded by the state. You have a central university funded by the center. Now, there is no separate classification as autonomous university. Every university is autonomous in its own sense. All right, that's one. Then about construction and demolition waste, you didn't know anything because it's not being done in Indore, perhaps. They started doing in Delhi, and Hyderabad also same model was started, where they try to segregate the metal, the sand, the silt, from the debris, and they recycle and make paver blocks and prefabricated compound walls. So reusable materials. That is C&D waste management, where houses in old cities are demolished. Instead of throwing all around, it's collected for a tipping fee, small tipping fee, and it's recycled for reuse. That's all. Otherwise, you are quite good. Your flow is good. I don't want to add anything. I'm sure you will do well. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anjali, there aren't many, aspects that I need to add to your responses. And as and when, I found some few things to supplement to your answer, I think I already told you in the course of your response.
Yes.
So I think there is except one, way which I need to give you some input about that wet bulb temperature phenomenon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually a combination of both heat and humidity. And then this is also something closer to the heat wave condition. Okay. So the when there is some kind of a asymmetry between the heat and moisture in the atmosphere, the so-called relative humidity, what we call. Okay. So it becomes very difficult for human beings to carry out their day-to-day functions. Okay. Okay. There would be a lot of that pressure cooker type of atmosphere you will feel.
Okay.
So this is something akin to your heat wave, and also it has implications for civil administration, because you have to advise people, and you have to, as I told you, like in heat wave conditions, you have to advise people to stay indoors and then read your work schedules.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you rightly mentioned about as far as India is concerned, these things are still not considered as part of disaster and so on. So to that extent, I think you are quite well informed, except that, this is a term which is now currently being used. I thought I would just, find out if you are familiar with it. So you can catch up with this thing. There is and also, I don't really think, how it is calculated and all that. It is the job of a meteorology department people that they will do. But as far as a prospective civil servant, what you need to know is, what is this phenomenon is called, and what you are supposed to do as a prospective administrator. What is the implications for administration and all that. So to that extent, if you are aware, that should be fine. And then as far as the application of, the concept of region, delimitation of region is concerned, you have taken a very limited view of, delimitation of a region. But then a region, is a very comprehensive term. Region is actually so much of uniformity characterizes a region, as you know very well. Uniformity in terms of physical features, uniformity in terms of climate, language, cuisine, so many things. Okay, ways of habits and so many things. Therefore, that regionalism also helps in planning, allocation of resources, development models. If you have this at the back of your mind as a public servant, then you will be able to approach the problems in a better fashion, rather than going purely by administrative map of a particular state or a district. If you have this concept of region at the back of your mind, then it will be easy to communicate with them, also identify issues which are common, cutting across various groups of people, etc. Okay, but otherwise there are not many issues. And then on the issue of scrapping of film certification tribunal, I think I already told you the problem is escalated to the level of High Court, and therefore it is really difficult for the film fraternity, because film is also one of the fundamental rights, freedom of expression and all that. So the film fraternity is also feels that by closing the doors of an appeal and resolution of a dispute, etc., In other words, even a functionary in a ministry of Information and Broadcasting, can also interfere in the film making and say, no, you cut this scene, you cut the dialogue. And then, so the amendments are now being carried out to Cinematographic Act. So it is seen as an assault on freedom of expression. Okay. So if you can catch up with these things.
Yes, sir.
But otherwise, I really do not find anything to add to your knowledge base. And as the feedback which you already got, I am fully in agreement with what they have said. You are very articulate. Your expressions are really good. The flow is very good. And the questions that I posed to you are mostly hypothetical. And then I find that, you think on your feet. You are a quick thinker. That's a very good sign. And that is what is required for a public servant, to be able to think on feet and then come up with some solutions. So you have all the qualities that go to make a successful candidate for this exam. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Anjali, adding to the feedback given by my co-panelists, your communication skills are excellent. So that's what we can certify. But bureaucrat, the flow should be controlled. That's very important. Okay, so go by the basic aspects. Instead of giving total picture, you start with the basic aspects of the issue. Then that definitely will communicate more in less. That's what the formula for a bureaucrat. So coming to a few issues which I have raised.
Yes,
Number one is about the women empowerment. You wrote an essay, you got a prize also.
yes,
And you
sir.
also gave how the women can be empowered. One of them is by economic empowerment that is being done by the Madhya Pradesh government. It is its own model. The model is that it empowers, that means it directs the banks to give the loans, and the banks collect the rate of interest at the 2% only. The rest of the amount which the banks have to be paid is being paid by the government.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that way, more than 3 lakh self-help groups are being benefited, and more than 30 lakh women are given this type of facility. So that's the model which is talked as the Madhya Pradesh model of women empowerment. Coming to the second aspect about the education, be aware of the education system in Delhi. So you just gave certain points on your hearing. I think you have not read properly in a very systematic way as to the system of the education. So it depends on 4 pillars. Number one is the infrastructure development. So which includes the salaries, the budget, etc. The second is about the training to the teachers at international levels. The third one is about the teacher-parent partnership. The fourth one is about having an interaction with the student and understanding his strengths and weaknesses and helping him to come out with his best. So this way the system is well built up. And of course, the happiness curriculum is a part of that. Okay, so this system you study systematically. Okay, because education is linked to 2 places.
Okay.
Coming to the third aspect about the Gond art. Gond art is online art, online work. This is called online work because the lining is very, very important for the Gond art.
Yes, sir.
So that I think you can maybe put in your answers. And there are 49 types of painting styles, the Gonds, 49, it is estimated. And coming to the Devas town, there is a PPP river linking project.
Okay, sir.
It's a very interesting project you can read. It is now linking from Narmada to Krispra, that's called Skipra River.
Yes, sir.
I don't know the spelling, but they call the Krispra River. So
Yes,
the
sir.
linking process, thereby the water quantity was increased from 10 million to almost 30 million. So that way,
Shipra. Name of the river is Shipra. Shipra.
So thank you, sir. Shipra River. So that is the link between the 2 rivers.
Yes,
Okay, so the fourth one about is about the goans. The goans that spread into 6 states in India. I think you said the MP, yes,
sir.
Maharashtra, AP, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha. So these are the 6 states. The population is roughly 2 million. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
the 2 million. But the people who can write Gondi language are merely 100 only 100.
Okay, sir.
So the dictionary is now recently that was prepared, and of course, it is mostly a spoken language, not a written language. But now the people are now coming for that.
Say
And
Telangana.
sir, sir.
Let her say Telangana instead of Andhra now, because Gowns are there, Rajgowns and Gowns.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Not
It's
in Andhra.
Telangana, sir. Telangana, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Andhra Pradesh no longer has
Yeah,
votes.
yes.
Yeah, I'm stand corrected, sir.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is in Telangana.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot of work is being done in Gowns.
Yeah.
Coming to the last one, Vanavihar project. That's a very interesting aspect. I asked because it is a national park as well as zoological park,
Yes,
where
sir.
you can go and you can also see the animals.
Yes,
So
sir.
animals in they were not disturbed from their inhabitants, as well as the passengers can go through and can see those things. That way, this is molded. That is the uniqueness of this Vanavihar National Park. So these are a few aspects I think you can add to your answers.
Sure, sir.
I think,
Sure,
as Vivek sir said, you got the qualities which are required as a bureaucrat. Hope that your name will be there on the top, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Shom Shekharji.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anjali, true to your surname, you are a good listener, but you are also a fast, free, or fluent talker. So you have, I think, a combination of both. As far as my conversation, I just add a few sharp points to your good level of awareness. On NDMA, NDMA is headless for the last 3 years. There is no vice chairman who was supposed to be of the cabinet rank. And also it supposed to have 8 members. There are only 5. So by undermining, the National Disaster Management Authority has virtually been taken over by the Home Ministry, and the Home Secretary calls the shots, and the Home Minister. Therefore, you can look at the performance of the NDMA, which was supposed to be the nodal agency in COVID-19. The second aspect on these viruses, you're quite aware. The only thing is this Zika virus, there are no vaccines as of now. The vaccines are under development, including one by Bharat Biotech, in an Indian company. Now, as far as aerial yoga, I think we had a very wonderful conversation. You're quite aware, and I think quite bullish, as I said, about the whole aspects of yoga, such. And finally, on Namkeens, perhaps since Indore is so famous, the market is huge, and there are Haldirams, there are PepsiCos, there are big players now. And Pratap Snacks from Indore, in fact, raised 265 crores through a private equity firm, Sekova Capital, which means, the investors also are seeing it as a huge potential. Overall, I think as our panelists, co-panelists said, you're very good material. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Anjali.
Not only Shrotriya, but also Vachika.
Sir,
You're not only a good Shrotriya, but also good Vachika. But then, sorry, sir, I'll take a half a minute.
Please.
But are Shrotriyas not supposed to repeat after the Vachikas? Are they supposed to listen to the chanting of hymns all the time? Or then how do they transmit this knowledge? After all, Vedas are, pure oral transmission of knowledge.
Yes, sir.
I thought Shrotriyas only just listen, but I think They are cost with this, you're transmitting to the subsequent generations.
Sir,
I don't know.
I'll ask
Anyway,
Anyway, just as
Anjali will
just
ask
as
her
an aside,
grandfather.
our grandfather.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Acha, Anjali,
Yes,
you have
sir.
heard the feedback from all of us, at the end of which, is there anything you want to ask us?
Sir, if you had to give me any marks like out of 275 at this moment, and what would that be?
Okay, this is of course a very childish kind of a wish. Number one, to be able to give marks, we should have simulated exactly the way UPSC conducts, which means compress the whole thing into 25 minutes. It is unfair to you by penalizing you for a somewhat lengthy answers where the blame is ours. We have allowed it to go on. We should have crisply asked a few questions and be done with it by the 25th minute. So I don't think it is fair. Supposing I say X marks, that may be actually unrealistic and that may demotivate you. So as far as I'm concerned, you are bound to walk into the IAS, there is no doubt. Only thing is, we would like you to be somewhere in the top 10.
Yes, sir.
So it is just a matter of whether walking into the IAS or walking into the IAS with great colors. That is the only thing. So I'm sure you will do very well. Don't worry at all.
Sir, the only thing that I need to do is a little bit economize on my words, like speak in short, maybe.
No,
passages in
not
short
that.
words.
First of all, no need. What you have to first remember is, you don't have the entire time in the world.
Yes, sir.
So you have to be very, very conscious of which 3 sentences you will utter, which will escape your lips. So which 3? So that is left to you. This is opening. They give you only a very short time, 2 or 3 minutes maximum. So in that, you have to market yourself and come up with a compressed zip file kind of a method whereby all that you know, which is huge, let's say it is 1 terabyte, but there is no time for 1 terabyte narration. So we want you to compress it to 1 kilobyte. So when it is just a matter of 2 or 3 sentences, you pick up. Since you have the mastery of the subject, you will pick up. Like, for example, our Dr. Gopal, when he asked you, like a very doting father, you first talked about 2015 and the Millennium Goals. So he had to cajole. What were they called initially? And it's after 2-3 minutes you said Millennium Goals.
Okay, sir. Okay.
This kind of a sympathy or extra consideration won't be there in the UPSC. For them, it's a mechanical thing. They are already sick and tired. They have to interview 2,000 people. They are racing against time. And therefore, they will simply move on. Oh, this girl doesn't know that it is Millennium Goals, which were less in number, which transformed themselves into Sustainable Development Goals, which are now 15. 15 or 17? 17. So if only you mention all this in the very first or second sentence, then you would have said, okay, very good. Then let's talk about Indore. That's all, something like that. This is how it happens. Okay. So you have to remember that there is a constraint of time.
Yes.
Therefore, you accordingly frame your answers.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Remember that there is not all the time available in the world. It's just a matter of maximum 2 minutes. So you have to say whatever you want to say, using the key phrases and words.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
You were able to do that. In fact, you mentioned excellent answers for Zika. Then, these are technical phrases. You mentioned about that vector's name, this and that. So you are good. Only thing is you have to keep on reminding yourself. Anjali, you have to say whatever you want to say in less than 2 minutes. So that is the mantra you have to keep repeating to yourself. That's all. Anything else you want to ask, Anjali?
No, sir. It was a very good experience. Thank you, sir.
Okay, then all the best. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.